I think that Andrew Thomas last year was the second best tackle in the league, right behind Williams of the San Francisco 49ers, who's been the best tackle in the league for the last 6 years. Even when he was with the Washington Commanders, I believe he was the best tackle in football. And I'm sure Washington's smacking themselves in the head because they received nothing for him.
Well, that's your own fault. You misdiagnosed a very serious medical issue.
I believe Andrew Thomas is a sensational player. His first year, he did not look good. His second year, he just boomed right off the offensive line list. He went from probably ranked in the first year 25th or 27th in tackles. He moved in his second year, he moved all the way up in the top 10. And then his third year was in the top 5. The Giants were absolutely right about drafting him from Georgia. Absolutely. He's a Bulldog. He's not playing for I would say, the Philadelphia Bulldogs.
He'll have to block a bunch of them, though.
But he is a sensational player. He's the only offensive lineman on that line that you can trust. There is nobody on that line. And we'll see what the center, the young kid, does this year. It is believed that he is going to be a very good player in this league for many, many years. But that offensive line, there's a lot of questions to it. And obviously, even though Andrew Thomas is making all that money, he can't play right tackle and left tackle at the same time. We will see this year what Dable and how Dable is going to try to, I would say, hide some of the deficiencies of this offensive line. They couldn't do it last year, especially in the playoffs when they played the Eagles.
Oh, God, no.
The Eagles absolutely embarrassed their offensive line in the first half of that game. And then they completely just gave up in the second half. The Giants have to run the ball successfully this year. And now giving Saquon Barkley that extension, and we will get into that a little bit in just a few moments, I believe everything rests in Saquon Barkley's health this year. If Saquon Barkley plays 17, 18 weeks, the Giants are going to be a playoff team, 100%. It's crazy to say that, but the NFC conference is just horrible. And I think still 3 teams can come out of the NFC East. That's how bad the conference is as a whole in the NFC. The question is, are the Giants and Dable? I understand they added Darren Waller. He gives them a guy that can block somewhat, hopefully stays healthy, and gives them an offensive weapon that they were lacking at the wide receiver / tight end last year. But giving Andrew Thomas this contract was well-deserved. And the Giants needed to give him that contract. I'll tell you why. Because if they waited another year, it would have been more. They probably would have had to pay him $27, $28 million because the cap is going to go up and another offensive lineman is going to get paid next year. And if Andrew Thomas has another good year this coming year and puts himself again in the top 3 in almost every single potential offensive tackle numbers, he's going to get more money. He's going to make more money. So the Giants needed to extend him.
And they need to do it quickly, too, because you're gaining the reputation now of trying to make everything harder on these players than it actually should be, based on what happened with Saquon Barkley, too. And even Dexter Lawrence, to an extent, too. They had to give him the 5th-year option, but even last year they were still toying with giving him the 5th-year option. They declined the 5th-year option to Daniel Jones, proving that they're trying to operate in their own process, but at the same time they're trying to be stingy at the same time. But Andrew Thomas is the one player they seem to have that good connection with right away. And Andrew Thomas said he's still going to be working hard. He still wasn't even going to hold out during that, even if he didn't get paid right away. And he gets the money he deserves. He gets rewarded with, like you're saying, the second best, highest paid tackle contract and guaranteed money right away, too, which we haven't seen from a lot of these other players.
I wouldn't throw Saquon Barkley under the bus because he was sitting out and he wanted to get paid.
No, I wouldn't either.
Because he is a running back and he has been there for 5 years now. And he believes that Ezekiel Elliott and all the top running backs over the last couple of years were treated better than he was. And him taking and signing that 1-year deal with incentives that could make it $14 million, it's absolutely worth it. But look, the Giants, they didn't want to pay Saquon Barkley because they wanted to make sure that they were going to get this contract. And I understand it's not going to affect the contract and his option this year because they wanted to make sure that they can add potential add-ons on waivers if they need to add waivers going into this season.